John, want to add anything on to the, that you, some building blocks you see in the future?
Well, ironically enough, for those that don't know right now, I work for an automobile dealer. And we just sold a car to a man from the Sonic Corporation who was in charge of their developing. And there's a talk of that we're getting a Sonic restaurant brought here. And I told him that I lived in Franklin Park, did not tell him I was running for trustee. He said, boy, he says, the corporation in Oklahoma did not want our location. Because when the corporate people came out and looked at Franklin Park, they said, are you nuts? Did you look at this place? They wanted to put it on Grand and First Avenue. Was their first choice. Him and his team said, no, Grand and Manheim, look where this is at. The airport's over here, you got this, you got that. Everything fit except for the look. And he said it took them over a month and a half to sell the corporate execs on letting them come to Franklin Park. And at the last town hall meeting, I said, what we need to do is clean up Franklin Park so people, when they drive through, don't look at it as a war-torn look. You know, a bomb didn't just go off and we decided to sweep it over to one side and leave it there. This guy did have great things to say about our location and, you know, in real estate, location, location, location. He talked about, I think it was Checkers that was at Manheim by the North Avenue, then there was another Checkers further up, I think in Bellwood or whatever. And he said, well, Checkers just doesn't make it anywhere they put them. They're short term to go, Sonic will make it in. He says, but, he says, you guys really need to clean up. He says, we'll do our part to clean up our little section of Grand and Manheim, but you got to really clean up the stretch. So when people drive through, he says, because he says, when I got in the car with my superiors from Oklahoma, they'd said, you better have a good reason or you're fired. Well, he's still got a job, they're trying to bring it here, but you know, John wasn't, you know, he says, boy, I hope I'd made the right choice. But, I mean, here's a guy bringing a business here that tells us we look terrible from the outside, and we, you know, and we got to start from the ground up, clean up, and start attracting businesses.
Yes, ma'am? Oh, go ahead, Anita.
My question is, and oddly enough, I haven't talked to Mike about it because he's been so busy out, you know, knocking on doors and things. But when it comes to our downtown area, few people know where our downtown is, and the people who do find their way to downtown, it's a mess. You know, it's just like, you know, the example, it looks like a war-torn area. It looks like a, you know, almost a third world country down there, you know, now with all the empty stores, the big vacant lot. And also, I was wondering what you were going to do to attract more people and make downtown more pleasing to the eye, so that businesses want to come. And also along the train routes, the factories and that back up to the train tracks. When people go through our town, it looks terrible. It's like going through downtown Chicago to them because it looks, you know, just trashy. The fences are all rusted and falling down. And this is the impression people going through town think of our village. And I'd like for them to ride through and see, you know, nice fencing or, you know, whatever, something built up and say, oh, that looks like a really nice community. You know, we're home shopping. Maybe we could look here because they're already on that train route. And it's already convenient. We have so many conveniences, but the attraction is just terrible. So I didn't know if you had any plans for that type of thing.
Even on the back of the police station, it's not very attractive, and
No.
everybody drives by that all the time. John, you're the Franklin Avenue guy?
Yes, I want to see the second phase of the condos finished out. It really has to be done. If you're going to save your downtown, you need the density down there. You need that additional 80 families. That is, unfortunately, that's not a negotiable. You can't put grass there and take down the fence and say, well, maybe some year it's going to be viable. No, there's a reason that the condominiums sold out in one day. So there was a demand. Yes, the market tanked. But when you look at it, there was a reason why people wanted to be right next to that train station. So that second phase, 80 families, needs to go in there. And one of the things is that with the new administration in there, you don't owe the contractor that built the first one anything. So you can move on and you can put it out for bid for the first time. One of the problems we've had here is that there are no other bidders are accepted to bid on the downtown. It's only one gentleman that has the exclusive rights to the downtown. And that's not the way you need to do business. You need to get some competition among the developers and then jumpstart that. The sales office, I have said to the mayor over and over and over for the last 6 months, open it 4 hours on Saturday. Set the price for the second building. I've talked to the mayor. He's supposed to be talking to the contractor. I've talked to the contractor directly, and he doesn't want to talk to me because I'm just a trustee. So it's the mayor and him that have the deal. But anyways, the biggest problem you have is that unless you open a sales office and you get a feel for the market, even though it's in the tank, there might be people that have the money, their credit rating is high enough, and they have the ability to get the loan, or they have the cash to actually buy a unit in that second building. But you can't just make the broad statement because Schiller Park isn't selling any condos that Franklin Park, downtown is in the tank. It's not true. I would suggest to the board is that you need to maybe do a creative thinking and somehow being able to subsidize rent at the same level that currently the rent at downtown is $12 a square foot. The new units are like $22. There's a $10 spread. So maybe the village needs to look at a way to put make up that $10 for 5 years. Tell the person to move in, you do the build out so that you put some equity into the business there. Try your business, see if you can build up the clientele, that it's viable, that you've got people coming there. Then at the 6th year, you bump their rent up 20%, or buy. We had 4, if you can imagine, I'm so discouraged because when that condo was first conceived, the doors opened, we had 4 viable businesses that wanted to move in there and buy one of the lower portion.
I wanted to buy one.
Okay?
They wouldn't sell it to me.
They would not sell it to you. The contractor said, oh, I'm going to sit, this is going to be my retirement. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to rent all these out and this is going to be really great for me.
I wanted to rent one. I asked them what the monthly rent was. They said $7,000 per month.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
John, I have a question on that.
Well, there was a young, attractive woman in the back who had a question. But you have a follow-up to this, Franklin Avenue?
Correct.
Is yours on Franklin Avenue?
No.
Go ahead.
Regarding the second phase, would you require the condos to be owner-occupied or allow them to be rented?
Well, currently the PUD, the Planned Unit Development, calls for 20%. You can have a 20% rental in the condominium. That's currently what the city fathers had set in, and it's not a bad equation. I really don't think you want to make it all rental.
I agree.
You know.
Couldn't you make it all owner-occupied so you can keep
can,
out some of the bad element that comes into that?
Anytime you keep the requirement of owner occupancy 80% or more, then you can't get financing very easily for rentals, for investment income. And the condo associations with 80% ownership occupied usually keep any renters in line, and they're discharged immediately. Even if they have a lease, they can be discharged if they're violating the association. I've done a number of pieces of litigation and work for condo associations, and when you get 80% or more, you're pretty safe. But we definitely don't want them to become rentals.
Right.